Okay, Ethereum. Update on Ethereum. Last time we looked at the range. So this is our range right now. These are the short-term ranges, all right? Right here. So it's still showing us that we have a lot of distribution that's happening here. That's was it the 333? That it's all converging right at the center point of this range. So it's been distributing still. Let's see. We even have the trend here, overall trend from the bounce that's showing some commitment to bring this markup prices higher back up. So my point that I'm looking for here, going from this idea, would be right here to the scene of the crime, which is to the left. Let me get the line. My target would be looking at this level here being resistance. The scene of the crime right here, this cross, is the point of resistance. All right. So it's showing that that is a point to where we do have a lot of resistance, and this area right here was the zone to where they started marking the price back up. So as soon as this gets up here like this, I would assume at some point this is going to be the same level to where they start marking the price back down, just like how they showed us a little bit cooler here where they started marking the price back down. I I would go off of this 21 now since it's already marked down, and the 333 is actually already below this. This might be the move that goes up before it goes down. All right, and what I mean by that is that if I do a fib, I'm just gonna do a quick fib. I think it's this way. Yep, this way. Yeah, is that we probably get to this 1.702. Probably gonna get to the 1.702, and that might be it. So 33.95 is where I would say that the resistance would end up to be. Let me even check this one out too. That if we do drop, yeah, then we're looking at it. Even came down to find the 702 to be support, right? To be the zone to where they the zone of interest to where they actually started marking it back up, where they were started buying was below the 702. So now that they're buying below 702, it's actually not below it, but now that they are marking it up, I would say getting to the 70 1.702 right at this level. So I'll mark that level there as the potential level to where it could go to. And I'm gonna put this as my target. Okay, so this target for me doesn't mean I'm gonna long it. Target means I'm gonna short it at this level. All right, that's what I'm saying at my level. Why am I saying that? Because you're above the 666. You're above it like this. You don't long it. Okay, sure, you could have done it like that, but you see this? That could have happened to you, right? So I'm saying that we're at a point to where this isn't doesn't mean it's going to go up. This has a greater probability of going down because Bitcoin's still in charge. All right, so Bitcoin's dominance is still in charge and still saying that I got higher highs and higher lows. What do you think you're doing? If this guy outperforms Bitcoin in any way, it's going to dump into Bitcoin. So as of right now, these altcoins flashing these kind of flash sales is like your Cyber Mondays, to where you will, or your Black Fridays, to where you're going to be distributing into if you want some, right? Therefore, it's distributing still. So the accumulation hasn't really kicked in yet. You can see that they're starting to show signs of it though. Here, right? They're starting to show some signs of it. But this trend can hold. This trend can hold. And this trend holds long enough until it goes up to test these levels. This 33.9, 33.95. If it goes and tests this level, that's where I'm going to look to short it. And it even got resistance right here, the support that can flip to resistance. Um, the levels that I'm looking for here is going to be where you would see this thing dance around because all their moving averages sort of converged. So usually when they're converging like this, there's a move coming, right? Usually when it converges like that, there is a move coming. And so if I look at the fib here, I would even expect this thing to even touch down and hit this level here and continue up in this formation, Like it could hold this level here, but if it loses this, then you're talking about going back to the 702. Okay. The level that you don't want to see lose is this 2877, 2873. But if it doesn't lose that, it comes right back to it, because this is typically how altcoins are too. They like to like make it seem like they lost those levels, but then it doesn't. Right? Like he'll do this, right? It goes right through that and it comes back up. And so it'll be wave one, wave two, wave three, right? And just going back up in this fashion to where it can go back up like this, right? So then that will be right back to the 702. See, only for then to come back up and then dump like that. That's what I'm looking for this thing to actually do, if it's going to be dumped back to the downside and retest this lower level here. Possibly reclaim most of this wick, most of these green candles that came up. There's still some lower levels down here too, like I would say probably this level here. There's some sort of reaction to this level too, to where it has a chance to go there, and that's why I'm saying that that's a level right there to that where there could be a tiny little range right there to where it can clear up that range. And I'm still expecting a head and shoulders from Solana, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see it across all altcoins to do some sort of head and shoulders like this, right? That's what I'm chasing after, and it's overall picture and led by Bitcoin, right? The overall narrative is led by Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm not expecting this thing to break out. Like if it was gonna break out, it would have did it up here. It would have did it up there. Because I've showed before that this is wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, this is wave 4. When wave 4 doesn't make it up and it gets distributed into, you get this long accumulation period, which is really good for these altcoins, right? That will melt back up. That's technically how it does it, okay? And it could do this to where it go all the way down to the lows, right? We want to find the scene of the crime. The scene of the crime are these levels here, okay? Like this level here. Okay, that's been hit before. This level here has been hit before too. Okay, this been hit multiple times. One time, right? This one came down below it, and the wick came right back up, right? So they reacted to this level very, very well. I'm not going to be surprised if this level gets reacted to again, only for it to end up something like this, right? And so this could be the point to where ETH actually really does its move back up, recovering back up. But by that time, it would be March, April, right? March, April, somewhere around that time, right? So take some time and slowly adjust to this, and follow the moving averages, because they're gonna show us the way. And we have to take our time with this one because it's real tight. ETH is real tight, and its movements are really, really quick. But like all the altcoins are fast, but overall, it's all going to still follow Bitcoin's dominance. So I would still pay attention to this at the same time MS pays attention to the dominance. But if you're DCAing, it doesn't matter where, really. It doesn't, because as long as you do it below the 666, or even at the 666, and start distributing, start accumulating little by little, into it, then yeah, I mean, multiple buys though. I'm not saying like buy like 100% of it right at the 666. You can if you want, but if this happens here like that, which they can, more than likely they don't do it, but this might be the time where it does do it again, right? One more time, right? To where it goes down past one more time for one quick wick. And this could be the area to where you might be able to catch that 25 zone right here. One more chance, right? It's this scene of the crime that we're looking at. It did it right here. This was a very good entry area. This is why it's still going to get marked up. But I believe it's still markup where retrace and a continuation, right? I believe it's going to be that move to where it's going to get continuation. And the one that you really want to see is it actually goes down and it clears the 1700, what do you call it? Yeah, the 1700 scene of the crime. If it does that, or even the 1800 scene of the crime, which it did it before here, it did do it. That's how it came back up with this kind of markup. Okay, so if you want to see wave 5 really clear through it all, probably not going to make it to this right away. It might flip this. If this flips it, that'll be super. That'll be great, right? But the best thing you want to follow is not the candle to try to flip it. You want to wait for the moving average to get down there, and actually the moving average to do this, to where it actually goes and retests. As you can see this right here, this is the part where you got to pay attention to. The moving average, if you look at this yellow line, it's lined up with the lows of the moving average of the green 2021 moving average. It came down to get that level right to that point. Okay, didn't really touch it right away, but it came right to that point and reversed really quickly to take the moving average with it. It's a good thing it's lagging. It's not always a bad thing that's a lagging indicator. Many people think it's a bad thing that's a lagging indicator, but it's a good thing because the move, of course, is already happening for it to do it, but it's telling you the entire narration in a speed that you can understand it. Because if it was moving in real time and it was always moving super quick and it doesn't stop, it was always sort of like pre-performing the move before then it would be way harder to try to understand it because you don't see it now. Does it make sense? Well, at least that's how I see it. So, that's my narrative on it. So, it's got that, and even then, we can look at some more clues on that too, right? I'm not gonna make this video super long, but you pay attention to just the way that even the resistance, they do the same thing. Like you pay attention to the resistance, they do the same thing. That's why the ranges, they are the way that they are. Okay, and so if we were to say that this level here is going to become resistance, oh no, I gotta go look at it's when you got a scene of the crime and you get the move that goes back to test the scene of the crime, right? So it's like this. Yeah, this is a scene of the crime move right here. As you can see, the reaction that it gets right up to that point, right, with this cross right here. We go to the right, you see how much confluence it has to that point where it crosses. Okay, and it did come through it. It did rid through it. So what I'm saying, like it's a 21 and a 333. So short term, like commitment like that means that it's just short term. It doesn't mean that it's going to be long term move. This is why you can't commit to it either. You should be in and out of it, right? And so this kind of idea right here to where it's up here too, same deal, to where you're getting a lot of resistance at these levels, right? So as you can see, it's crossed back already. The 21's crossed back below it. So once the 21's crossed back below it, where's the scene of the crime? The scene of the crime is right where all the moving averages are converging. So, the only point that we can think about is like where it can go back to where all the excitement is at these levels, right here, to where all these candles bounced, right? Is there a scene of the crime right here? Yeah, you got this area right here. You see, you got this cross way back here. You see that? So I would put this area right here to be my range. Okay, so I'll draw it out real time to where I would say not literally the range of the moving average, but it's the scene of the crime range, right? To where it would be an area of where I would anticipate it to be a move based on the scene of the crime that happened before somewhere else. Means that over to the left here throughout history, which is why it has a good chance of it happening again like this. Okay, so that's what my secondary range is going to look like for Ethereum. And does it mean that it needs to go back down there? Exactly, no. I mean, you can even here. I'm going to remove these first. So remove that, and then remove this one. Yeah. So it's already got a lot of confluence there, right? So can it come back down here? I would say it's got less of a chance to do it since it's already did it before, and there's already seen the crime that's already inside of this lower range. So I would even move this up to the next range right up above, right? Which is going to be right at, yeah, it'll be right at this level here to where, yep, right there. And all these came down to hit this middle of the range and then it bounced, right? So that's what I'm saying, that you have this tiny little range right here, which is really hot. Okay, so the hottest area, which means you have 1 time, 2 times, 3 times right here, right? The rip through it. All these are wicks. So I'm gonna say that it's 1 time here, it's 2 time here, the 3 time right here. If it does hit, this will be the time that it's going to do this. That if it does come down through here, everyone's going to expect it to bounce again. Okay? And it doesn't. Instead, it just stays in this range. Ping pongs. And that's what I'm saying. Is that it's not going to go lower, it's not going to go higher, it's just going to ping pong in this range sideways, which is a dead zone for a very long time. And what does that look like? Just like Solana. Over time, it will end up to be similar to what I was explaining about in Solana, where this becomes some sort of head and shoulders over time. Only for it to observe these lower levels at some point, one more time, and these guys get caught dead, and then boom, right? Like, that's what it is. It's just a head and shoulders over time failure pattern that will go higher. Until we see it though, that's what I'm saying in the long run, right? And I'm looking for this thing to actually go, like I'm saying, going into next year. So if this thing doesn't end up down here, then that's good. That means that you are actually in an uptrend, and then we stick to this trend that I got over here that's already drawn out, right? Then we stick to this trend. As long as this trend line doesn't break and it doesn't end up like April of 2021, then we get a continuation of it. But as long as you start to see an M formation like that, M formation like this, and you start to see this as resistance, especially you get a wick that comes all the way up here and you lose that wick right away, you know, the candle that it becomes a wick right away, you start to go right back into the zone, then that'll be a very clear sign that distribution is still in charge. And if it is still in charge, that means that you got to see accumulation first, which falls back to the narrative of the only real move comes after you see below the 6xx. And Ethereum already did it here, and when it went above it too. You had a bull market, no, you had a bear market, and you had a bull market already within, for ETH, you already had that within 267 days of it, of the entire thing playing out, of a drop, up, and right back to the middle. You already had that entire bear market, bull market scenario already in 267 days. And this could be a prequel, all right? This could be the prequel to show you what is possible for Ethereum, okay? That it could do something this quick in this short amount of time is something to really pay attention to, because if you can get this kind of a move, I would rather get an altcoin cycle that's in 267 days than wait like, you know, like one of these cycles over here, right? To where it took like what, the lows here all the way to the high to come right back to where it was. That took 840 days. You see what I'm saying? So like I would prefer 267 days to do a move down like that and then up in 267 days and come right back at 267 days than to wait 840 days. Speed. You see? So I would prefer that. I don't mind if it does that all the time. We really don't need to care if naturally it's going to go up higher. Right? Naturally it is, just because Bitcoin's going up higher. But the overall move is that if it stays within this range all the time, then that just means that the overall like consistency of it is that it can be in this tight ass range like this, and you still get a bear market and a bull market, bear market and bull market. It's just easier that way, in my opinion, because it'll be more predictable, because you are in a range, right? Look at this range, right? It's not hard to see if you just pay attention to it, right? I mean, if you look at it, like if it does come back down, these are lower lows, right? If you actually see this rolling out, right, to be lower lows, and if you actually do get this, you're talking about this thing actually come back down here, something like this, right? Am I saying it's going to do it? You know, am I saying it's going to do it? I mean, that's zero, right? But of course it can't, right? But you're talking about if it does end up doing something close to that, something similar to that, that would be to the fake out of the century, right? The fake out of the century is going to be right here, right? Of course, it's going to be right back to where it started. This would be like Bitcoin going back to like what, 20,000. That's similar to it, right? This one right here was already to the point where it was already high enough pain for most of them, but then look how long it took, right? That which led you to that bull run of the altcoins right here, which led to the top of the range, and then just to start all over again. But the traditional one I've seen all the time is that it doesn't get to the levels down here again, and it doesn't get back up to the levels up there again. It just sideways before it goes. Those are the traditional ones I've seen, and so since the sentiment is looking like this, I would expect it to sideways. And so the range sideways, still you're gonna get probably $1,000 range, right? So like, can you trade it? Yeah, of course, right? And so it's just something to give you a range on how to work with, right? In terms of how do you actually, what do you call it, profit off of this one. But the scene of the crime, pay attention to the scene of the crime, 666 right now is real tight with all the other moving averages. So I would assume for this thing, and expect for this thing, for ETH to actually continue down with the 21. For the 21 to continue down. It's not, this isn't enough momentum on candle speed to bring the 21 back up. All right, you know how much momentum it needs? Something like this to bring this up. And look how much momentum is there on the downside. These don't last very long. You would see this thing, like this strong move up right here, this move up. Watch this. If I take this side, candle size, to measure this candle's movement, same size. See that? Did this movement right here last? No, it just dumped. So, you know, I'm saying that it sounds like a cheap thing to do by just copying candle size and expect that the momentum's, no, it's the volume. This candle is one whole volume, all right? Like one max candle here is one whole volume size of the move. It wasn't enough to even try to bring it up. Yeah, sure, it tilted it back up, but it came back down instantly. You see, so this thing could tilt back up a little bit and then just come back down instantly. So that's what I'm saying. Does it have to come down, rip right through it like this candle did? It could. All right, it could, but does it have to? No. But if it does, then it's even faster. The faster the move plays out, the faster it recovers. That's the easiest way I can put it. All right. So yeah, any questions on ETH? Yeah, just either ask or post in the comments. So yeah, this is the target. All right. So pay attention to this. 33.93. That will be the area to where I would say that this thing is going to be the highest point to where it just starts to roll over again. I'd say it's already in distribution mode right now to where it's already being sold into, slowly sold into, as it climbs up. So it doesn't mean it's going to drop instantly. No, it just means that you're going to get wicks to come back and come back up, come back, and it's going to chop, right? And this choppiness right here, at some point it'll just roll over, right? So it doesn't give it enough power to come back up. This has nothing to do with that. Meaning that this is the bottom, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. Okay, I don't think it is. Not yet. But it will move accordingly to the narratives like the FOMC and the tariffs too. It will move in condition to those, right? With those as conditions, based on market reactions, right? Okay, so that's it. Laters.